I believe that whoever took the lives of the students at the University of Idaho was very familiar with the house at 1122 King Road, as well as very familiar with the people who lived in that house. And I'm going to tell you why. I want to walk you through the crime scene as I would see it through my eyes and kind of how I would process things as we're moving around the crime scene. Because I believe that the house itself tells a story about this crime. And I believe that there's a lot of little pieces of the house that tell a story about this crime. So I'm going to start from the front of the house. And I know that it's reported that they believe that he parked in the back and walked through that tree line right across from the Queen Apartments. But I'm going to start with the front because I feel like that's where the suspect would have started, was to look at the front of the house, because that's going to kind of tell you who's possibly in this house. So the first thing that I'm seeing is that there's 5 cars parked in front of this house. Now, if I've been watching this house, then I'm probably familiar with 4 of these cars. But I'm not familiar with the Range Rover because Kaylee had just bought that car. This car hadn't been parked in front of that house. So if I'm looking at these cars, there's one car that I don't recognize. So that might create a little bit of concern for somebody going into a house full of people. So I believe that whoever committed these crimes was very familiar with this house. And I believe that whoever committed these crimes was familiar with the people who lived in this house. And I also believe that the people who lived in this house were familiar with the person who committed these crimes, or the people who committed these crimes. So I believe there's a different, I believe that the people who committed these crimes entered a different way. But I'm going to follow this through as it's been reported, the way that law enforcement believes that this all unfolded. So I'm going to come through the back area, because one thing that I'm looking at when I look at the house is that at night it's actually pretty well lit, but there is some cover in the back far corner of the back of the house across that road from Queen's Apartments. And you could come down through that tree line, and it would probably be a very short distance from that tree line to the sliding glass door. Because other than that, the house itself is kind of right in the middle of this lot. It's exposed on 3 sides. Both entrances, are exposed. So the house is exposed to other houses around it that should be able to see anybody coming or going relatively easily. But as this house was described, it's a party house. It's also located in a college area. So this house is located around sororities, fraternities, a lot of other houses where a lot of students live. So it's probably not uncommon to see people walking through this property or on this property, especially on a Saturday night when people are out partying and people are out. So it's probably not uncommon to see random people walking around this area. So I don't believe that getting into the house was that difficult. I feel like getting into the house was probably pretty simple, if that's how the suspect did it. But for now, I'm going to come down through the tree line. So I come down through the tree line, and it's a very short distance to the sliding glass door. I believe that he went through the sliding glass door only because it would be the more sensible way to enter the house. The sliding glass doors, the suspect would be able to see what's on the other side of that door. If anybody's in the kitchen, or who's on the other side of that door, or if that room's empty, rather than to go through the front door, which is a wooden door, which you wouldn't know who was on the other side of that door. So I would say that the suspect entered through the sliding glass door in the back to eliminate any surprises. Another thing I want to talk about is this ladder. What about this ladder? I keep seeing this ladder, and it's basically leaned up on the side of the house right underneath Xana's bedroom window. This ladder is in every photograph of the crime scene that I've looked at. They actually even tied some crime scene tape to this ladder. But this ladder seems it's just oddly placed. It's right underneath the ledge where Xana's window's at. It would seem like the perfect opportunity for somebody to climb that ladder, and you would be right in front of Xana's window. Which leads me to believe that maybe that ladder was there for a purpose. Maybe, 6 people lived in this house, so it probably wasn't uncommon for somebody to lock their keys in the house, or for somebody to be locked out, or maybe for somebody to need to get in when nobody was home. And maybe this is the way that they did it. It's possible. But this ladder definitely has my attention because of where it's located, because of the way it's leaning against this house. So, aside from that, going to the back sliding glass door, I'm going to enter into the kitchen. So, Xana had just gotten food. Apparently, Xana had just had food delivered. So, if I'm walking into this kitchen, I'm probably smelling food. I'm probably smelling like somebody was up. Somebody was in this kitchen. So I'm walking through the kitchen, and I'm going directly upstairs. So I walk through the kitchen, and I walk to the right in order to get to the stairs. And when I do that, I have to walk right in front of Dylan's bedroom door. I bypass Dylan's bedroom door and go up the stairs, which to me is going to make some noise. This is an old house, so these stairs are wood. So I'm assuming that they would creak or that they would make noise. They're also right up against Dylan's wall. So there's a possibility that Dylan would have been able to hear somebody going up the stairs. Being that this is a party house and that people tend to be in this house a lot, that might not have alerted her to anything. Sounds in that house of people coming and going are probably pretty common with 6 people living there. So he heads up the stairs to the top level. And this is where he goes into Maddie's bedroom. Now, Maddie and Kaylee are both in this bedroom. So according to reports, he took Maddie's life first, and then he took Kaylee's life with a sharp-edged blade. So this is all going on the top floor. Now this is happening in the bedroom right above Dylan's bedroom. So literally this is happening 15 feet from where Dylan is laying. But nobody in the bottom floors hears anything. So they had the perfect opportunity to flee or to run out of the house if they felt like they were in danger, but they didn't. They stayed right where they were because apparently they didn't hear anything. Now, when I was doing a virtual tour through this house, the one thing I noticed the most was that, first of all, the house had wood floors throughout, which would make it very echoey and loud. And there was also air vents in every single room. All of those air vents are connected. So it had already been reported by a student who lived in this house the year prior that you could always hear noise through those air vents. But apparently nobody in the bottom floors heard two victims fighting for their lives upstairs. So now the suspect leaves the bedroom after he's taken their lives, and he walks back down the stairs. Now, when he walks back down the stairs, he is going to walk right past Dylan's bedroom door. This is a second time. So the second time he bypasses Dylan's bedroom door and walks across the living room and around the corner into a little hallway where Xana's bedroom is located. Then he takes the lives of Ethan and Xana. Ethan is 6'4" tall and athletic. And Xana, we know from reports that she fought her attacker. So you have this commotion going on probably approximately 15 feet away from Dylan's front door, now on the same level. And still, she doesn't seem sure about what she's hearing. And Bethany is if it's been reported correctly, Bethany didn't hear any of this. Bethany has heard none of this. Now, Dylan has had 4 victims' lives taken within 15 feet of where she's at. And so, after the suspect takes the lives of Ethan and Xana, he walks back through the living room, which means that he would have to walk past Xana's bedroom door for a third time. He also walks past the stairs going down to the first level, which is where Bethany's at. There's also a spare bedroom on this first floor. And I don't understand why more people aren't talking about this spare bedroom. Because we know that that bedroom was leased out to another student, but she didn't live there. That's not really strange. I mean, she might have moved into the sorority house, or she might have moved in with her boyfriend, or there's a lot of reasons why she might be leasing this room and not living there. But was this bedroom being used? That's a question that I have. There wasn't anybody living in this bedroom, but was this bedroom being used? I feel like this bedroom has significance in this whole scene. I feel like this spare bedroom is connected to these crimes somehow. So he bypasses the bedroom. He bypasses the stairs going down to the lower level, and he bypasses Dylan's bedroom door for a third time. This time, Dylan sees him. He's described as clad in black, and he had bushy eyebrows. So he wasn't moving that fast. It sounds like he was basically walking through the house to the back door. It doesn't sound like there was any urgency, because she managed to make out his eyebrows and what he was wearing, considering she is described to be in shock at this point. So He walks past her and walks through the kitchen and out the back door. Now, getting into the house, I think, was relatively easy. Getting out of the house, I think, is a different story. Because now the suspect is covered in blood. So, if he leaves out the sliding glass door in the back, it is a very short distance to the tree line, in which he could walk that tree line up to his car. But then he just hops in his car, according to the timeline and according to this video, he just hops in his car and drives away from the crime scene. But there was no DNA from the victims found in his car. So, could this happen? Absolutely. Do I believe that somebody entered the house and committed these crimes? It's possible. But I also believe that it's possible that whoever committed these crimes was already in the house. So I'm going somewhere with all of this information. And like I've stated in videos before, I have a theory about how these crimes were committed and about why these crimes were committed. So please like and follow my page and look out for my next video. We're going to be talking about the timeline, and there's a lot of information about that. So we'll see you soon.